You are listening to the Joyce Aldrich Show from Toronto, Canada, Arts and Entertainment Edition.
Yeah, that's the way they did it way back when, back in 1929. They'd hustle up to Buffalo and back again, back in 1929. Mamie got a hustle for the Pigswood and a bottle, banging and sawing on the sales tax title. Yeah, that's the way they did it back in 29, back in 1929. Pigswood and a bottle back in 29. Got the sales tax title back in 29. That's the way they did it back in 29. Back in 1929. Hey, that's the way they did it, and they did quite fine back in 1929. They're barely full of bourbon and a bottle of brine back in 1929. Hey, that's the way they did it when they did that thing. A piper's got the gap to cut the pigeon wing. I said that's the way they did it back in 29. Back in 1929. Pigswood and a bottle back in 29. Got the sales tax title back in 29. Belly full of bourbon back in 29. My pappy's got a gasper back in 29. That's the way they did it back in 29. Back in 1929. Well, they're drinking cold bourbon, hops and rye back in 1929. And then we're gonna eat the things that make birds fly back in 1929. Why don't you put the neck bone in the pot with lots of salt and pepper, hanging down a joint with a real hot stepper? Yeah, that's the way they did it back in 29. Back in 1929. Lots of salt and pepper back in 29. He's a real hot stepper back in 29. Belly full of bourbon back in 29. My papa's got the gapper back in 29. Pigswood and a bottle back in 29. Got the sales tax title back in 29. That's the way they did it back in 29. Back in 1929.
Wow, back in 1929, and here in 2025, we have Lotus Wight, and that was his song 1929. He's also known as Sam Allison, and my goodness gracious, he's taken us back to a time when there was old-time music and great storytelling, great lyrics, great words, all kinds of great words. And a lot of wonderful old-time music and pre-war blues, all that kind of stuff. And we're going to be hearing a lot of different music from Lotus tonight. And I love the name Lotus, Sam. I really do. Where'd you get that name from?
Well, Joyce, I was at a crossroads in my music making, and this was like many years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
But I was hanging out with a guy named Pete Sutherland. Pete Sutherland was a major figure in the world of folk music, particularly pertaining to fiddle playing around the eastern part of the United States. Pete lived in Vermont, mm-hmm. and Pete was a very influential figure in that he was a wonderful old-time fiddler, just an incredible player, but also concerned himself greatly with working with a lot of young people, mentoring and sharing his talent with people.
Yeah.
So Pete Sutherland was responsible for he was a folklorist and a fiddle tune collector and a song collector and just an all around folky, old time obsessive like some of us are.
And like the Lomax collection. Oh my gosh, yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
like he was
Yeah.
sort of similar to that, maybe on a different scale. But it was Pete that brought the music of a man named Lotus Dickey to the public consciousness in the 70s. Pete found Lotus in northern Indiana. And I'm not really sure how Pete found Lotus Dickey, but Pete found him in a backwoods area of northern Indiana.
Wow.
And he found him in a place called Grease Gravy Road.
Holy moly. What a name, eh?
Yeah,
You
all
can't
the
make
names,
that up.
all
You
the-
can't make that up.
all the names in this story are pretty cool, starting with Pete Sutherland, of course.
Yeah.
Now, Pete, he found Lotus, and Lotus was a widower working his farm, and he had 12 children.
Holy.
And Pete got to know Lotus, and eventually, I think Pete had heard about Lotus in terms of his fiddle playing and songwriting.
Yeah.
And so eventually, Pete over time got to know him. And Pete published his songs and his tunes. And, Lotus Dickey is not hugely widely known, but definitely known in some of the, the more
The folk circles,
well,
yeah,
in the very particular folk circles of old time fiddling.
nice.
So this was one of Pete's gifts to the world, and when I heard all about it,
Yeah.
which was actually a long time ago now, it was sort of at the beginning of the beginning of the ground zero epicenter of my folk awareness, which was a time when I was traveling with a square dance band all throughout the States.
Well,
And
that'll give you.
I did that for 8 years.
Well, that'll give you some chops.
It gave me some
Yeah,
chops,
yeah.
and more importantly, it gave me a consciousness of American music
Right.
and all of its branches and all of its trappings. And so I was compelled not only by the music of Lotus Dickey and Pete Sutherland, but I was really kind of taken with the name. So eventually I, was starting a band or starting a concept for my own solo performance. And I decided to abscond with the name Lotus. I thought it was a clever name for a performer, male or female.
Yeah.
And the Wight part, W-I-G-H-T,
Yes, I was gonna ask
as
about
in
that.
Isle of Wight.
Oh, yes. Is that where your mom's from?
Well, I guess it's maybe where it came from. I mean, I don't think I really consciously thought of Isle of Wight necessarily,
Yeah.
but I think the sound of Lotus Wight sounded pleasing to my ear. And I actually do have a little bit of Welsh heritage in my family, and Wight is actually the Welsh name for man.
Wow.
The Welsh word for man, I should say. So, that is sort of the long, complicated story of how Lotus Wight came to be. And I've struggled with it here and there. I just sort of decided to release my latest record as a Sam Allison record, but then I kind of rescinded after realizing that I had worked pretty hard on the Lotus Wight brand for a long time. So I actually re-released my record as Lotus Wight.
I really love it. It embodies what you're doing, really, to be honest.
Thank you. I think
mean,
it does
it
in
really
some
does.
way, and
Yeah.
it's hard to put your finger on why it works so well, but it's an unusual name for a man, and it's got a nice ring to it, and there is something kind of old-timey about it, so why not?
Yeah, old timey, and it puts you in a different era. It puts
Yeah,
you.
I think it does.
And what you do from what I've seen online, and I haven't seen you in performance. I got to do that. That's for sure. I've got to go. But you know, you put yourself into another era, the way you dress, and the instruments you play, an incredible array of instruments that you play. I mean, just all those
Thank you.
oldie timey music instruments, fantastic, and which just gives you that beautiful sound. And also, I want to ask you, you recorded to vinyl, did you?
I have recorded to vinyl in
I
the
was wondering
past.
about I was wondering about the new album. Sorry, I'm flipping all over the place, but that's what I do.
That's all right.
I flip a
Uh,
lot.
the new album was not released on vinyl, and there is sort of a story behind that. But the new album, of course, is available wherever you stream music.
Bandcamp.
Um,
You're on Bandcamp though, because
and
I'm
it
going.
is on
Yeah,
Bandcamp
that's a
for
good
you to
place.
buy.
That's a good place. Yeah,
Sure is.
yeah.
But I gotta say, having $5,000 overhead to produce some
Yeah.
vinyl for the corduroyed and bearded IPA drinking hipsters with vinyl collections, it's not viable
No.
for a solo artist who often feels underemployed. You know, that's a fairly
No.
big layout to have a
Yeah.
bunch of vinyl that may or may not get sold, you know?
No, I think
So,
yeah. Go ahead.
yeah,
I'll
well,
just give you my
I
feelings
just,
about that. Yeah.
you know, I aspire to get some vinyl done, but it really does add an expense to a process that is already rather expensive, and that's just it's basically you're sort of tripling your production fees when you're doing that, you know.
Well, because we're not set up for that anymore. I mean, in the old days, you know,
No.
you go in like you know, and you know, when they were collecting all that music in the backwoods and everything, and get someone come into your little room, and you put the
Yes.
vinyl, they put the needle down on the vinyl, and they'd record straight to the vinyl. Or you go to one of those little exhibitions or whatever and record a music, you know, in a little booth somewhere. Those days are gone. And we're not set up for that anymore, and that's for sure. But I think what people really need to do is to go and find sorry to put this, the vinyl of the old recordings. That is worth getting, you know,
Boy,
like, and
I
start
really
collecting
agree
that
with
stuff.
that.
You know, like
Yeah,
go listen
I agree.
to that. And don't not this phony vinyl, but you know what I'm talking about. We've come out of that, and the way vinyl is produced is not necessarily authentic. It doesn't have that. It's not the same kind of pressing. It's not the same. There's artistry in creating a great vinyl record album, you know. And I know I heard you say, you know, you love all the cracks and the pops and everything that are in it, and that's the beauty of it too. You know, it's beautiful. It's organic. You know, that's all I have to
Yes, I
say.
really agree with you, and I gotta say, after my tirade against vinyl, I'm always taken aback at how many people ask me for vinyl. So I think I will get there eventually. But
Yeah. Oh, well,
there
by the
is
way,
actually
I was going to say, I'm sorry to pop in again. I wasn't asking you for vinyl though, because I just noticed
no.
I just noticed on a couple of your videos that you were in a studio and that you were recording to vinyl, and I was wondering, oh, that's really interesting. That's like old time, you know. And I wanted to see I just wanted to know if you'd done that, you know, like what happened.
Well, I gotta say, I think you might be referring to some recordings I did for Northumbrian University at Newcastle on Tyne.
Uh-huh.
And my former band, with whom I was involved for a good 20 years, we had a lot of business in the UK, and we were invited to go record some vinyl sides. So we actually, I think the video that you're referring to could be Shisham Lotus and Son, and we recorded 26 sides for the university with our friend Lorna Fulton,
Okay.
who is a real old time fanatic on recording. She had a thing called the Lathe Project, and the word lathe refers to the actual vinyl cutter, as
Yeah.
you mentioned. So you can actually look up Shisham and Lotus 78 recording on YouTube, and you can watch us laying down music, and you can watch Lorna brushing the swarth off of the records as we record it, because you needed someone to brush all of the shavings off the vinyl while you recorded it. And then you can also go to the next video and watch us hear our own music come off of a 78 recording for the first time in our lives. with tears streaming down our faces because, we
So
grew up
beautiful. So
listening
beautiful.
to vinyl recordings and 78 recordings. And finally, the degradation of the sound was ours.
Yeah.
We had our music coming out of a scratchy piece of 78 record. And I tell you, for a young old time musician who aspired to sound like his heroes, that was a huge experience, to be
Yeah.
able to actually hear yourself sound like one of those old records. It was sort of an indescribable feeling. Some people strive to get the best sound possible and the most pristine. And to us, that was the best sound
The
possible.
most beautiful. Well, that's what I was talking about before. When you used to just go in and lay down a track, that was it, like you did there, and that's wonderful. That's a historical thing that they did really with you, and I think that's fantastic. So so beautiful. I want to play. We're here to play some music, and I know you. I cut you off there. You were going to go on. You were going to talk about something else, and
That's all right. I got all
blew
day.
you off.
No problem.
Awful. No, I'm just going to go down into the music again. Okay, so let's talk about your early days, because you've got two songs on your album. The first one and the last one, you've got Mama's Boy, and then you've got Father's Three. And of course, Father's Three, I think, is your longer version with different instrumentation, and then you have Mama's Boy, which is the shorter version, which is the one we would play because it's a little shorter. But certainly would encourage everybody to go to Bandcamp and listen to all the versions and buy the music, because that's why we're here today, to buy the music. Okay,
Nice.
Get this. That's what we got to do. So anyway, we got to plug it. But let's talk about your early days, because that obviously influenced your music quite, I would think, your life. I mean, I understand how that works.
Well, the song that you mentioned, which is, as you said, done in two versions on the record. It's basically, let's call it Mama's Boy. Mama's Boy is basically an origin story about how I ended up in Canada, but it's actually a story about having three fathers. The baby boomers and the 60s and the hippie trail are all sort of sung about remotely or indirectly in this song.
Yeah.
And it's sort of an ode to my mother, who married 3 times, and it's an ode to the 3 fathers that raised me. And it was a really amazing thing to reach within and try and express my origin story through song. And this album that you're talking about, Original Works for Voice and Banjo,
Thanks.
has been an amazing project for that reason. I've spent decades being a revivalist and a revisionist of old time music, and it was an ultimate wonderful pleasure to do that. And for the whole time that I've been a musician, I've written songs, but after writing about 100 songs, I hadn't really felt like I had something that I wanted to present to the world. And then I made myself write this cycle of work, which is in a 10-song collection of original work. So it's important in that it is my first collection of original songs that I've put out into the world after spending a long time studying banjo music and fiddle music and the songs of the old time and stuff. And I guess I really wanted to write some songs that were deeply personal to me. And I also felt like I maybe had the experience now to create those songs in a fashion that I really loved and that was close to my heart, which is sort of old time folky songs,
Yeah, well, I loved 1929. That we opened with. That was great. And talking about that time, and actually, just going back to that song briefly. I mean, the 1920s and early 30s, mostly the 20s styles are back.
They sure are.
So you know what, your album is in. It is current. It's what people are going to want to. I would be marketing it in that vein, because The 1920s are back, but it's the 2020s, and
Yes, it's for better or for worse, we are
Yeah.
experiencing things in the world that harken back to older times.
we are. We certainly are. I hear you. I mean, yeah. I have to keep my mouth shut because well, I don't usually, but it's like well, yeah, well, I'm a Jew, so there you go. I'm a Jew, but there's someone in your song who was too. So we're gonna play Mama's Boy, and he was your last dad, wasn't he? Yeah. So here we go. This is Mama's Boy, and this is Lotus Wight, and from his fabulous new album. And again, it's original works
For voice and
banjo. And I want to say that the way you have done the instrumentation in this is absolutely, I call it purist. It's not overproduced. It feels you're in the room. You're it's up close and personal, and I love that about it because the stories come across so beautifully because of that. Your lyrics, your storytelling, the music, it just is perfect as far as I'm concerned. I love this album.
Thanks so much, Joyce.
No, you're welcome. And here it is, Mama's Boy.
In the years of my young life, my mother was 3 times a wife. And so it went, I was to be a mama's boy with father's 3. When I was aged 10 weeks and 3, my father left my mom and me. They'd met beneath a schooner sail near Athens on the hippie trail. His father waved a flag of red, Marx and Trotsky in his head. In Hammersmith he left we two to ford the long Atlantic blue. My dear mum, she was of mind to leave old England far behind, and we followed him to the colony, a basket mother, boy, and sea. And it's over we'll go, singing songs for the folks that we know. And it's over we'll be, people over we'll go. We plant the seed and we ho-row. Then was father number 2, up from the red, the white, the blue, in a commune down on Palmerston. Was to be this man's first son, a country boy with a veteran dad. He gave me everything he had. And it's over we'll go, singing songs for the folks that we know. And it's over we'll be, people over we'll go. We plant the seed and we ho-row. And after father number 2, Brooklyn, Romanian Jew, he dedicated his songs to her, and I still play his Wurlitzer. My mother was his one true bride. We held her hands the day she died. And it's over we'll go, singing songs for the folks that we know. And it's over we'll be, people over we'll go. We plant the seed and we ho-row. In the years of my young life, my mother was 3 times a wife. And so it went, I was to be mama's boy with father's 3. And with each man mum had a rift, but each man had for me a gift. And for a child it may seem sad if one man liked the other had. Now looking back on dear mum's time, upon this that was mine to climb, the greatest gift she gave to me were Father's 1 and 2 and 3, and the greatest gift that she gave to me. Father's 1 and 2 and 3, and it's over we'll go, singing songs for the folks that we know. And it's over we'll be, people over we'll go. We plant the seed and we ho-row. We plant the seed and we ho-row. We plant the seed and we ho-row.
Mama's Boy, and that's Lotus Wight, and that's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. You know, I love the positive vein that song has taken. You know, how you got something good out of every one of those relationships.
Yeah, that was that really came up. You know, I really I wrote it as an unaccompanied ballad to begin with. So I didn't really even write it on the banjo. I heard someone singing an Irish ballad, and I kind of got the idea for it in my car.
Right.
So I was driving. I think I was driving to. I believe I was driving to Sudbury to play, and funny, I got
Long 69 there. Yeah.
I got the idea for the first line and the last line kind of right at the same time. So I have this little recording on my phone. The most modern invention I own is my phone, of course. I'd like to say that I did it on a cylindrical recording machine, but I actually wrote the song. I wrote the song much later, but I came up with the first line and the last line kind of simultaneously. And the first line being, in the years of my young life, my mother was 3 times a wife. And then the last line being, independently of the chorus, the greatest gifts she gave to me were Father's 1 and 2 and 3.
Yeah.
So I envisioned it as a positive story, and you know, you could interpret the middle part as being sad or troubling or whatever, but you know, yes, you're right. It is a positive spin on what could be possibly maybe a sad situation, or some, you know, some people might hear that if your mother was married multiple times, you have more than one, you know, lots of parents in your lives. Maybe that's a sad thing, but you know, it was actually it enabled me to look at it in a positive light, because I think maybe I needed to look at it as in a positive light. So I think in a way that song's quite therapeutical for that reason, you know.
Yeah, no, I understand all of that. You know, I mean, on a personal note, I by the time I was 17, I lived in 17 places between 2 provinces and 3 cities. You know, my parents were not they weren't in the military. We lived like gypsies. You know, it was like very hard. And those kind of, you know, you know what my brother said, and I agree with him. It made us adaptable.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
So these things that we do, and I am a great believer. I can say I know. I'd like to say I know that, you know, before we come into this this physical body, we say, you know what, I got to work on this, and this for my soul, and this is what I got to do. You know, like this is I got to go through this stuff. You know, it's like a schoolhouse earth in some ways. That's the way I see it, and it's like if you look at it that way, and it makes it a little easier. You know.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful way to look at it.
You know, like it's you wonder why do things happen for other people, not for me? You know, they're writing songs of love, but not for me. But
really.
But it's like, but that's your journey, and that's okay, and everyone's journey, and we all dovetail, which is also a beautiful thing too. You know, I mean, it's just the way it is. Now, you grew up in Toronto. Did you come did you travel to Toronto first, or was that where you were raised?
Yeah, I arrived in Toronto as a year and a half old baby.
Wow.
In a basket. Actually.
Yeah, a Moses basket. I was thinking of that Moses basket. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, most of my time was spent growing up in Toronto, downtown.
So was Palmerston, was that like down on Palmerston and like down in Toronto?
There's lots of communes back in 1971 on Palmerston proper.
I
And
was going
so
to say.
that is a reference to Toronto for sure.
Yeah, because we moved here from Hull, Quebec. It was Hull,
Oh,
Quebec. Before it
yeah.
was Gatineau, but in Hull, Quebec, we moved here in 1970. So, Yorkville was still Yorkville.
Wow. Yeah, I guess it would have been, wouldn't it?
It totally was. I was 14,
Yeah.
but it was like totally still Yorkville, and it was I wasn't allowed to go anywhere.
No.
my mother kept a short leash on me.
No going to Yorkville for you, Joyce.
No, but she ended up at the Brunswick House for 27 years, as I mentioned before.
Well, isn't that funny? Yeah.
Yeah, but it's and I met the king of the gypsies. But same with you. Your life is enriched by it rather than destroyed. That kind of thing. Look at the music you're coming up with. You have stories.
Yeah.
You have stories to tell.
But I dare say regarding that song,
Mm-hmm.
it was actually an effort to put a positive spin on the story.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like maybe
sure.
I was feeling a little bit blah about the whole thing, and maybe I was feeling a little sorry for myself with the situation of my parents.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was actually a way I created that positive spin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was something that I actually needed to do for myself.
Yeah, it's like a forgiveness kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
I know with my with my mom. Like I got stuff. I think lot. This is I love going into detail, obviously, but it's like I have to understand where she was coming from as a performer. She moved us from Hull, Quebec, at the end of May, from our schools, from a Quebec school system to a Toronto one, because she had an agent here, and
Wow.
she had to come here, and that was it. She had to do the summer gigs.
Huh,
So
amazing.
you can understand that. So she had Billy O'Connor Agency wanted her, and they scouted her at the Skyline in Ottawa, and she was pitch hitting for Diamond Lil, and they said, "Hey, you can do well in Toronto."
Very nice.
And so, but we all had to follow her,
Yes, you did. No choice
like
in the matter.
like gypsies, like here we go again, we're moving again, and but that's the thing. But yes, but that it can color your life, or it can make you crazy, or it can just be colorfully crazy. That's okay. We can be colorfully crazy, right, Lotus?
Sure you can.
I mean, yeah, I think so. So I want to play more of the songs, because I like the idea that you have stories. And people love to hear stories, and that's what I love about folk music, the old time music. It has all of that. So, just looking at your set list. Oh my gosh, your album list. Anyway, what would you like me to play next? And with a backstory, give me a little backstory.
I would like you to play a dear old 5-string.
Oh, I like that one, and we can play that because it's a podcast.
Yeah, right.
And what I also like, folk music isn't always kumbaya and if you miss the train I'm on.
Yeah. Although I do love those two
Oh,
songs.
absolutely. I love them too. But you know what? We can be raw and real. It's all good. It's all of that kind of thing. So I like that. And you know what? I'll tell you, my mom bought my dad a banjo because he said he wanted to play the banjo. He never did take lessons. It did come out of the box that it came in, but he never did play it. So he would probably love this song if he was alive today.
Well, that is the story of a lot of banjos.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of banjos end up in obscurity, and eventually they get played.
Yeah, oh, I hope so. I find it a very fresh sound.
Oh yeah,
It's so fresh.
It's evocative. It can be soothing. It can be loud. I mean, it can do a lot of things. It's also one of the most made fun of instruments.
Yeah.
Well, there's so many banjo jokes.
Well, okay, tell us a banjo joke before we play this
Well,
banjo song.
it's not really my habit to go into the banjo joke thing, but
okay.
to give you one example, there's this really, really upset guy comes into a bar, and the bartender, he's visibly upset, tearful, shaking, disturbed, And the bartender said, whatever could be wrong with you, sir? The man said, oh, I had this banjo, the back of my car, and I came back from the store and the windows were shattered. And the bartender said, oh, that's terrible, and your banjo was gone. And the man said, no, there were 4 more banjos in there.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
I had a feeling it was going there. That is
Yes, and you can also replace banjo with bagpipes, or also what's the other one? Bagpipe. Oh, accordion.
Accordions. Oh yeah, accordion. And by the way, with beagles,
Yes.
whenever I ask someone, where'd you get your beagle? Usually the darn dog is showing up at their door.
Really?
Yeah, they put their nose down and they just go in a straight line. How many people who are listening now who have a beagle can tell me this? Okay. Anyway,
I'm
so
going to
here
keep my eye out for beagles.
I'm telling you, it's very funny how you'll get one. Anyway, this is dear old 5-string banjo. Here we go. You'll enjoy this.
Pass me down that dear old 5-string while I'm so inclined. Anointed with the balm of toil and strung with binder twine. It makes me think of dappled days when I was in my prime. These fingers picked that 5-string prayer since 1999. Thanks Loretta Long, Louise Fitzhugh, and Jesus Christ, who wouldn't be the first to claim that fame is overpriced. Sunny days with Harriet and water into wine. They took that dear old 5-string and turned pearls back into swine. Pass me down that banjo one more time. But tell me please, who needs to tease a string with rosin bow and have the guile to wear a smile, at least if just for show? What reprobate will agitate a string with horse's hair? Such caterwauling doggerel's apt to lift me from my chair. Hear ye Elizabeth Cotton, Matoki, Slaughter, and Bourdain, with a rug to cut and a string to strum and laughter through the pain. There's Georges Poisson, Rachel Carson, and of course Verlaine, who never blamed a cloud if they were angry at the rain. If history won't repeat itself, then maybe it will rhyme. Pass me down that blasted banjo one more time. Woe the fool who blows a horn expecting to be paid, who spends their $100 bill the instant it is made, which now will buy you a loaf of toast, 2 pints, and a Subway token. This staying alive, it's just no jive. This hive has long been broken. Pass me down that blasted bastard banjo one more time. Now you may think it queer to call this implement a bastard. Hides a golden promise if and only if it's mastered. A string and hide accompany your rise to the bottom's top. Heavy load on a long dirt road, play, please just make it stop. Pass me down that blasted bastard banjo one more time. Pass me down that blasted bastard banjo one more time. Last time I checked, it posed a problematic paradigm. Oh, pass me down that blasted bastard banjo one more time. The drone is made of barbed wire and grim old age is mine. Despite all its vulgarities, it strikes a sound sublime. The Beamish stout, the aquavit, the bourbon, and the brine. Pass me down that blasted bastard banjo one more time.
Yeah, that's the bastard banjo. By Lotus Wight. You know, that's fantastic.
I'm getting teary just having listened to it again.
What kind of tears?
Like tears of woe.
Oh no. No, it's like, oh god. Yeah, it's like it takes a lot. Does it take a lot of courage to produce a banjo LP?
Yes, it can. Yes,
it can. No, I think it's got to be well received. Are you kidding me? Do you play the ukulele? No.
I've been known to.
I was
to
just
play
thinking.
the ukulele if it's like an emergency.
I know it's a backup string instrument, for the kind of music. But with the ukulele, I was just thinking of the 1920s. That's why, like a raccoon coat and the flat hat there,
Oh man, like
and
the ukulele was ubiquitous for a time. That's
oh
why
yeah,
there's so many of them in the world today. And then of course there was that ukulele renaissance about 10 or 12 years ago. Everybody seemed to be playing a ukulele. We
that's
have a
true.
few ukuleles in our home. We've got banjo ukes and regular ukes here.
Okay, and I want to talk about another instrument you were playing on that song, which I think I saw you playing. It almost sounds like something you'd hear in an old cartoon, like when they had. I bet you they did use that instrument to do some of the sound effects in some of the
Well,
cartoons.
that's interesting. What you're talking about,
You know what I'm talking about?
the instrument to which you refer,
Yes.
which is in that song, Dear Old Five String, the ironically named Dear Old Five String.
Yep.
That is a bass harmonica,
Oh, it's
also
weird.
known as a contrabass harmoniphonium, because I basically took a bass harmonica and modified it to my own specifications. And I now play that contrabass harmoniphonium in my stage show as well.
Yeah, it must be amazing. I saw you on a video, I think, playing it, and
Yeah, there's a video or two of me playing, and I think probably the most available video that you've seen of me playing that one features one that I don't play anymore. I originally built it to be pretty big, and I used it's basically what it is what we are talking about for you listeners is an harmonica which is enclosed in a metal casing and has a horn attached to it.
I know it was amazing to me. I thought, whoa.
And I think possibly the video that you watched is a couple of models ago,
Right.
because during the last few years, this invention of mine has undergone a transition which has made it much smaller. When I started to tour abroad, I realized that original one was much too big. So I've actually created, I think we're probably on about the fifth one now. I think prototype 005.
Whoa.
And basically the horns have gotten much smaller on it.
Okay, so how's that change the sound? Just help me.
It makes the sound, it focuses the sound a little more to a specific location. It's easier to mic that way.
Okay.
But really the point of having that instrument was that so I could mount it to a chest harness and play it while I played banjo.
Of course, that makes sense. Okay, so let's talk Toiki here. So first of all, I want to tell people to go to your website, which is lotuswight.com. So that's LOTUSWIGHT.com, because there they will see the videos. They'll be able to check out the music.
I think there might be a video with the
bass
harmoniphonium. Yeah,
but also you've got some dates coming up. You've been very busy. You've been very, very busy playing.
It has been a good summer. Yes,
it looks like you're having a great one. But it's going to be even greater. It's even getting greater. So August 20th to September 12th, is it?
Yes.
You're going to be in Sweden, Finland, Holland, Denmark, and Germany, and that's amazing. With Hezekiah Proctor? Who's that?
I play banjo in a band called the Complete Recordings of Hezekiah Proctor.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
That's an amazing gig. You're going to have such a fun time.
Yeah, it's a good part of my summer. And I'll be touring with some very close musical friends to the places that you mentioned, and that is you can look this up. The Complete Recordings of Hezekiah Proctor. It's spelt as it sounds.
Yes.
And yes, that is an old time concern of no small consequence Hezekiah Proctor is actually Montreal's most popular Anglo songwriter, Little Andy.
Oh,
Little Andy is a great songwriter from Montreal, English language songwriter,
yeah.
and he has been working in the music biz for quite a long time. Little Andy actually grew up in his younger years listening to my other band, which was called Shisham and Lotus and Son.
Mm-hmm.
And Andy was inspired to start a kind of a vaudevillian kind of character, sort of like what I was doing in that other band. So he decided to actually hire everybody from that band at a time when that band was actually kind of dissolving. So he kind of took us and continued our tenure as a combination
Smart.
to play with him. And he's a good business guy and a lovely cat. And so he started taking us to Europe on a yearly tour. And so we will be playing his music on this tour. And I expect to be back mid-September to continue with my illustrious career.
Which is looking pretty illustrious, and I really do. I believe that your this album should. I don't want to jinx anything by saying it's going to fly or something. They said she said it was going to do well.
Right, I'll hold you to that.
Don't say anything. Who is she? She doesn't know anything. What the heck? Anyway, because people want, when people are in times of like the 1930s. Okay, let's look at the dirty 30s. People wanted music that was. That's my cat, by the way. He chimes in every so. It's Rory.
Nice.
Yes, I know. Yeah, he hasn't jumped on the table yet. That's a good thing. He hasn't.
Boy.
No.
Yeah.
Anyway. But the thing is that people want music they can relate to. Things that speaks to their life. And it really speaks to their life, right to the core of their being. And they want some simple stuff too. They don't want. That speaks to, like, brother, can you spare a dime, I mean, that kind of thing.
Well, that last song you played, Dear Old Five String, is an indictment of the music business at large.
Yeah.
It talks about the absurdity of trying to make it in a business that is I would say less and less friendly to the creative soul.
No kidding.
It talks about trying to make a living and the feeling of ridiculousness that you sometimes get, the absurdity of it all. I was speaking to a really great musician the other day named Leonard at this festival that I was playing. And we were, as musicians do, the conversation steered towards the difficulty of the business. Yeah. And I'll never forget what he said, because he said something that was very true and almost could be a mantra for the modern musician, or for the musician who finds themselves having a difficult time within the creative world. And he said, the only thing that makes sense in this business is when you get on stage.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a really potent reminder of why you're doing it, and a potent reminder that, the stage is what you are meant to be doing, and the stage is where the music business makes sense. And I think what he meant was, don't try and make sense of all the other BS that you have to encounter just to keep yourself working.
No.
If your life on stage can make sense, then all of the other stuff is peripheral and should be treated as such, even though it might be terribly difficult. The truth of it all is when you're on stage with an instrument and playing your truth and bearing your soul, or doing whatever it is you do when you play music.
I agree. And actually, I'm hearkening back actually to the old vaudeville days. Not that I lived there, but I
was going to say you seem a bit young for that.
I know, but the thing is, my grandfather's father managed the Low Theatre in Ottawa, And he took Lillian Russell out for dinner, So I have a history of theater way back, and
Very cool.
So it's in we've got the grease paint and the whatever in our blood, and the stage in our blood. Absolutely. My grandfather's uncle, Uncle Tuts, he was a cabaret dancer in the 1920's in Montreal, and he died of an overdose.
Oh dear.
So,
an overdose of what?
I don't know, but back then there was cocaine. There was all kinds of stuff back then.
I think back then they had just as much as what we have now.
Absolutely, So it's shocking to hear, but yeah, that's that's what I'm saying. I do get that, and actually, my grandfather would say he would go into the theater with his brothers, and while the orchestra was tuning up to do the show, they'd sit there and suck lemons in front of the horn players.
Oh boy, that's funny. We have a book here in my home that I read to my son.
Yeah.
Called Lentil, and Lentil is a funny little kid who does precisely that to throw off an orchestra in his town.
Well, it's for real. They did that.
Yeah.
Because their father would, of course, let them come in to hear the show, right?
Yes,
and they'd sit
and all
there
the horn players
in the
messed
front row.
up
I
with
know,
it.
totally messed up. But yeah, well, also at Halloween, what they used to do back then too, and it was a terrible thing to do. Please do not. Well, you can't do this now. They used to push the outhouses back a few feet and then wait for people to come out. In the dark.
Terrible.
Terrible. So, well, yes, but that's I don't want to play in your yard. I don't like you anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so that's how old I am. I got grandparents who I remember. But the whole idea of the vaudeville, the whole idea, it's almost become that way again, the struggle of the vaudeville performer to get those gigs and to travel and to live out of a suitcase is not quite like that, but almost like that again now, because we don't have the musicians union that we do have a musicians union, but it's not as tight as it used to be. I mean, places don't get blacklisted anymore for not hiring musicians who are in the union. So musicians aren't as protected as they used to be. There was a time, like my mother had to join the musicians union because she played the kazoo and a tambourine.
Amazing.
Yeah, they came in one night and they said, "Are you part of the union?" She said, "No, I'm not a musician. I'm a singer." They said, "You play percussion," and I went, "Oh, she,
Yes.
oh yeah,
Yes.
absolutely." As a matter of fact, I have her. I've got her. This is her tambourine.
Oh, very cool.
I have it here. Yeah,
Wow.
So anyway, so I hope I don't have. I just played it. I hope I don't have to join the musicians union now. But anyway, but that kind of thing, it's very difficult. And when people have to play for the bucket, the beer jug that goes around, that's disgusting to me. And the door, and then people say, well, just go on Eventbrite and $25 a ticket or something. That's still not enough money.
No, it's not, but it's, the market won't bear more than that.
No, it won't, because people don't have the money. They don't have it. They just don't now. It's like it's a depression. If we were to take away all the credit cards from people, we would plunge into the most and call in debt. Oh my gosh, we'd be worse than 1929. We're floating. We're floating on that. Anyway, that's another show. Not this one.
A whole other podcast.
A whole other podcast. But so, did you want to play my merchandise profile? Does that sort of key in? Or what other song can we play right now?
That sounds great.
That sounds like that one's kind of keys in, right? I like that one too. So here we go at a little capstone here on what we're talking about.
In this age of modern business commerce, this place we call the music biz, when break time comes to us good folks who populate the stage, we might as well get up and take a whiz. If I could only move this surplus product, I would surely run the country mile. I got compact disc LPs and cool cassette tapes. Washboard Hank swears they're coming back in style. And when they don't come back in style, here's some things to make you smile. A tuneful bespoke fiddle waltz, a half pint tight jar of chicken schmaltz, spice rubs and some smelling salts, assorted hops and barley malts. I'll take your cash and style, my merchandise profile. All-purpose salve and candied sweets, potted shrimp and fitted sheets, smoked sausages and sour keys, a cabbage poultice for your needs. Until again folks want CDs, I swear we'll make a pile, my merchandise profile. Overstocked with promissory notes. Jaybird Coleman says just give it all away. But if I give it all away, they'll be leaving here to stay. Ornate papyrus from the Nile, a tintype that will make you smile, a custom-made hip-hop freestyle, bladderwort and chamomile. This list I will compile, my merchandise profile. A lacy nosegay silken glove, a tiny shiny porcelain dove, inspiring words from a lord above, a cheeky sign reminding you to live, laugh, and or love. That witty mercantile, my merchandise profile. Now the time has come to try to figure out what folks will buy. Guess I'll just diversify, no longer in denial, my merchandise profile.
Nice profile. You know what that reminds me of? Do you know Melanie
What's
Peterson? Do you know Melanie Peterson at all?
I don't think so.
No. Okay. So she's a singer-songwriter, and she goes out with her band, and her guy is Hunky Pete, and he plays the bass. But oftentimes, Hunky Pete will bring his hummus to sell at the gigs, and why not? It's really good hummus.
Did you say that he brings hummus?
Hummus, like chickpeas. Hummus in little jars. Yeah, sells
The
it.
pureed preparation of chickpeas with tahini, lemon juice, salt, and garlic?
Yes, that would be correct.
And they sell it from their stage?
Well, yeah, people like his hummus. So they said, Hunky Pete, did you bring your hummus? And they can sell their hummus, yeah.
That is amazing.
Well, it's
interesting because I have actually looked into that, to selling foodstuffs, and I was strongly advised against selling food.
Well, I understand. It's like maybe I shouldn't have ratted them out, but
Oh no! Oh
no!
The cat is out of the bag.
The cat is out of the bag. No, it's people who know them, dedicated. You know what I mean. It's like, yeah. It's not like they're selling crack cocaine, but it's just as good, I think.
Well, that's not a half bad idea. I mean, CDs are not selling like they used to.
Well, they're not, but because who has a CD player anymore? Everything is streamed.
I was thinking of actually selling CD players.
Well, or just the little ones that you plug in. The little just the little tiny ones that you can put in with a USB.
I mean, if we really want to get back to the old days, what we
Yes.
should be doing is selling broadside sheet music so people can take it home and play it themselves. But that, like the CD, the phonograph, the 8-track tape, the cassette tape, the cylindrical and the wire recorder, people don't read music and sing songs as much as they used to anymore. So
I don't even
it
think
seems
people
that
read.
every viable mode of media always falls by the wayside, starting with sheet music and broadside sales of paper media like that.
I know. And then the T-shirt thing, right? I mean, I have 3 T-shirts that I've purchased from musicians. I go to the shows because I think, well, I gotta do something. I can't get a CD because I don't,
Right.
you know.
So do you not own a CD player then?
I have the one that you can plug in, you know, like a DVD CD player, like just a USB if I have to. But I get everything streamed to me. I get everything sent to me, MP3s. Yeah, that's the way it goes. Like the way you contacted me, you know. And I as a matter of fact, I've got Universal Records. I got Atlantic. I got all kinds of people.
Yeah.
So I got stuff coming from Lady Gaga, believe it or not. But I don't know, where am I going to play it? Sometimes I do a whole playlist of like music from the top 40. But I'm not a top 40 person, you know.
Right.
But that sounds terrible. That sounds awful. But I think. How can I put it? Well, I think you'll be the top 40 in the banjo music. I think that's where it's going right now.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, this is a labor of not love, but work. This is your work.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
and this
It
is
also, yes, it is of love too, but
no, but
you know,
this is
it's
you got to pay
always
the
a challenge
bills.
to turn it into enough work to pay the bills.
Exactly. So that's what we got to figure out. You know, is how to do that. So original works for voice and banjo. Got to go to Bandcamp and put, you know, plug in Lotus Wight's name, and I think you can get to Bandcamp from your website, so lotuswight.com, right?
That's right. I've got a link to Bandcamp.
Yeah,
on my website.
everything's there. So just go there, and you'll
right.
everything. Just go to lotuswight.com. That's the best place to go, and you know and go out and see live music, because you're in the Toronto area. You're in this area a lot, like the GTA, right?
I'm there a fair bit,
Yeah,
and I'm just sort of booking my fall and winter now, and I will update the website hopefully in the next few days, because it of drops off after my Europe tour. I have not filled in the upcoming gigs, but I will be in Toronto and in Ottawa and in Guelph and stuff.
Exactly.
Subsequent to the European tour, and I'll be publishing those dates very soon.
I like that. Where in Sweden will you be playing? I'm just asking.
I'm going to be in Malmo.
Okay.
And Stockholm.
Okay.
And Dixmude.
Okay. I'm asking because a couple of shows ago I had Isak Struck on, and he's a Swedish performer. So
very cool.
You actually I think you'd love his music. It's circus country.
Oh, really? That sounds right up my alley.
I'm telling you, you would vibe to it. I'm just thinking I should connect you two while you're in Sweden. You know, like you guys should meet each other.
That'd be nice. Maybe you could send me his name and I'll look him up.
I will do that. I'll connect you, because I think that would be amazing.
Cool.
Yeah, because you never know. He's never left Sweden, and
never left Sweden.
His story is.
I think probably if I lived in Sweden, I probably would never leave either.
Yeah, but I think you'd love his music, and I think you guys would really have a lot to talk about. So anyway, I will make sure he gets to your show. I'll just connect you two.
Thanks, that'd be great, Joyce. Thank you.
Isak Struck. So we got to play one more song. So
all right, I think if you don't mind my choice, I would like you to play
Hydrochloride.
Hydrochloride.
How did I know?
It's because I don't know. It seems to be the most requested one of the record.
Could you please give a backstory on that one?
The backstory on hydrochloride is that there seems to be a very strong tradition, especially in the old time music world, of writing cautionary tales against the use of intoxicants.
Well, look at my uncle in 1920's.
Well, there you go.
Right?
Yeah, poor guy. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to add to that canon. I was proud to do so. And so, I also took note of how many songs, I collected and counted how many songs I knew about this subject matter. And of course, it's hydrochloride of cocaine.
Yes.
And I counted, I think, 23 or 24 that I knew of off the top of my head, artists who wrote songs about cocaine, including Public Enemy and Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, and Gus Cannon's Jug Stompers and Bessie Smith,
Yeah.
and Charlie Patton and Eric Clapton and many others.
Oh, look at Bessie there. She's from the 20s. Yeah.
And,
It's a hot
excuse me.
commodity. Yeah. Gesundheit. Bless you.
So I thank you. So I felt like I wanted to add to that, and I also would disclaim that I definitely don't mean to make light of these issues, because I know that they're terribly serious. But I think it's cool to sing about them, and I wanted to share a song about this subject matter. So I was really pleased with how it turned out.
As only voice and banjo can do.
Yes, that's right.
It's got to have some lilt. So
Yes, that's for sure.
no, I like it. You know, I like it. I love the album. So you know, like we're gonna play Hydrochloride right now, and Don't Go Away. Well,
Thanks, Joyce. That's amazing. I'm so glad you're doing this. I really appreciate this little interview.
It's play the music. Send people to buy it. That's the most important thing, to see you in person. And because I understand, from what I've seen, you are an amazing performer.
Thank you very much.
You're the whole package. You
well,
know?
I do try.
Well, just before I play Hydrochloride, I must say that a lot of times I've gone into gigs and I really, you know, can people just not dress like the audience? Can people just look like a performer up there? I mean, even if you're going to wear something that looks pretty normal, make it a little abnormal. You know,
yes, I agree.
Do something to yourself. You know,
yeah, I like to
be jazzy, but yeah,
and I happen to like vintage style, so I do try and do that for my gigs if I can.
Yeah, like find a vibe that's yours. Like it you know, it can be jeans and a t-shirt, but make it your jeans and your t-shirt, and make it do something, please.
Yeah, totally.
Please don't look like the audience. Anyway, that's just a little tip from my mom too. You know, like here we go. Anyway,
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, there you go, Irene, rockin' Irene. Here we go, Hydrochloride, Lotus Wight.
Bless my leather gloves and put the crow to the door. Sees my pipe and slippers just don't work no more. Talking C17, H22, NO4. That's hydrochloride of cocaine. Cocaine, baby, gets up my nose. Man, I lost my job at work and my suit of clothes. Dr. OTB, I'm not doing so well since I lost my $100 and my sense of smell. Cocaine, baby, makes me sweat, man. The doctor says it killed me, but it hasn't done yet. What's up, Slim? Let's find a place inside where I can get myself together on this hydrochloride. Hydrochloride of cocaine. Coming up Main Street, long and lean, coming down with a benzodiazepine. Try to take a shower, but you just can't get clean. Hydrochloride of cocaine. Cocaine, honey, you best believe I'm a man with keeping hydrochloride up his sleeve. Man, it's early in the morning and you just can't leave with that hydrochloride of cocaine. Your baby's looking at you like you're just not right. They're coming at me saying, what'd you do last night? Well, I was trying to get loose, but I was feeling uptight with that hydrochloride of cocaine. Cocaine, baby, gets up my nose. Man, I lost my job at work and my suit of clothes. Dr. OTB, I'm not doing so well since I lost my $100 and my sense of smell. Cocaine, baby, makes me sweat, man. The doctor says it killed me, but it hasn't done yet. What's up, Slim? Let's find a place inside where I can get myself together on this hydrochloride. Hydrochloride of cocaine. Hey, now please come quick. I was up all night just acting like a prick. Now this cocaine man has got me real sick. But that's hydrochloride of cocaine. Cocaine man, hey, hey, hey. Yeah, you know it's got a hold and makes me act that way. I was getting up to leave, but now I think I'll stay with this hydrochloride of cocaine. Cocaine, mama, when the truth is told, it's like you're feeling young, but now you're looking old. Pound for pound, it costs more than gold, and that very last taste is gonna leave you cold. Hydrochloride of cocaine. Cocaine man just makes me sad. All you want is good, but the feel's so bad. Had the worst damn feeling that I ever had with this hydrochloride of cocaine. Cocaine man gets up my nose, and I lost a job of work and my suit of clothes. Dr. OTB, I'm not a-doing so well since I lost my $100 and my sense of smell. Cocaine, baby, makes me sweat, man. The doctor says it killed me, but it hasn't done yet. What's up, Slim? Let's find a place inside where I can get myself together on this hydrochloride. Hydrochloride of cocaine.
That's hydrochloride, and that is from Original Works for Voice and Banjo by Lotus Wight, who is with me here. And I'm telling you that's a great album, and I'm wishing you all the best with it. Absolutely, Lotus. This is and please everybody go to Lotus Wight, LotusWight.com. Buy the music. Share it. Find out where Lotus is playing, and go there. And if you are across the pond there, you know, in any of this, in Sweden, Finland, wherever you're going to be playing there, go and see him. Fantastic, you know. You're going to have a great time. So Lotus, how would you like to end this? Since you're the host, you should end it. But yeah, what would you like to say to our listeners? About your music, about you?
I'm just similar to your sentiments that I appreciated very much. I think it's always good to encourage people to enjoy live music if they can.
Yep.
And this is Lotus Wight coming to you from the northwest region of East South Central Ontario.
Yeah.
Saying, support live music if you can.
It is expensive to go out. I know it's hard for
people.
It can so buy the music. Buy the music. That's a lot less expensive.
It'd be nice if people did. And you know, I think it's important to enjoy live culture if you can, and I think also it's important to be kind to one another.
Yes.
And practice loving one another if you can.
Absolutely. And you know, there are a lot of free concerts out there, you know, get out, because you just played in Perth, you said, and that was people could just wander in and listen to the music.
Yeah, that was the Stewart Park Folk Festival, and it's a free festival, and it is a magic festival. It's in such a beautiful location, in a beautiful town, but truly the park where the festival happens is sweet, picturesque place with a beautiful creek running through it. And it was great to be there. And I also just came back from the Blue Skies Festival, which is in Clarendon Station, near Sharbot Lake.
Sharbot Lake. Nice, yeah.
It's a lovely festival, and you know, I'm enjoying a nice festival season, and
you deserve
I'll be heading off to a music camp with my family next week before I take off to Europe.
Absolutely. Well, that'll be great. Some nice, well, not downtime with family, but some fun time with family and music as well. Do your kids play?
Yeah, they reluctantly play a couple things. Actually, I shouldn't say that. My daughter is a really amazing singer, and she also plays piano. The
Beautiful.
instruments that we want, encourage them to play, like banjo and ukulele, they've sort of dabbled in, but then actually Ruby just went to the piano by herself, and she's a beautiful singer, and she's so there's a lot of music in the house, and I think the kids, their lives will be enriched from having it in the house all the time. If they don't become musicians, that's of course totally fine. We don't need them to be musicians.
No, but
I think we
music is
need
good
them
for
to
the
be
brain.
accountants, actually.
Well, music is good for the brain, and that's
Yes, I've heard.
and that's
trying
really important.
I agree, and I'm trying to enrich my brain with some music.
There you go. So thank you so much, Lotus. Just stay tuned. I'll just after I sign out here, and thank you so much for joining us here on.
It's my pleasure, Joyce Aldrich. Real pleasure to speak with you this evening. Thank you.
So much fun. So we're just going to sign off, and we'll have more great music, and definitely tune into the Joyce Aldrich Show. We got so much great music there. Lots of great artists like Lotus Wight right here tonight. How do you do? Here we go.
You are listening to the Joyce Aldrich Show from Toronto, Canada, Arts and Entertainment Edition.